Field Marshal Asim Munir, Pakistan's military chief, threatened to plunge the region into nuclear war should his country face an existential threat in a future war with India, saying, I quote, "We are a nuclear nation. If we are going to go down, we'll take half the world down with us." This extraordinary remark, the first nuclear threat ever to have been known to have been publicly delivered from the soil of the United States against a third country, were made at a black tie dinner hosted for Field Marshal Munir by businessman Adnan Asad, who serves as honorary consul for his homeland in Tampa. The Field Marshal followed up his Saturday night nuclear threat, two sources present at the dinner told ThePrint, with comments on the Indus Waters Treaty, saying India's decision to place it in abeyance could put 250 million at risk of starvation. We will wait for India to build the dam, he said. When it does so, फिर 10 मिसाइल से फारिग कर देंगे. We will destroy it with 10 missiles. The Indus River is not the Indians' family property, Pakistan's Army Chief went on. हमें मिसाइलों की कमी नहीं है, alhamdulillah. We have no shortage of missiles, praise be to God. Guests invited to the function were not allowed to carry cell phones or other digital devices. ThePrint has reconstructed the speech from the memories of multiple guests at the function, some of whom also made some notes of parts of the speech. Field Marshal Munir was in Florida to attend a retirement function for General Michael Kurilla, the outgoing commander of the United States Central Command. A representative of the Israeli Defense Forces, a country with which Pakistan does not have diplomatic relations, was also interestingly present at the function. Earlier, Munir had controversially been invited to meet with President Donald Trump. The interaction caused a lot of disquiet among pro-democracy forces in Pakistan, since no invitation has yet been extended to the country's prime minister or president to visit the White House. An estimated 120 Florida-based members of the Pakistani diaspora were served a Western-style dinner at the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Florida's Tampa, begin with Caesar salad and followed by tomato bisque, a choice of chicken and salmon braised with herbs, all clearly marked to indicate that the food was halal. The function then began with a recitation of the As-Saf verse, number 4 from the Quran, which asserts that, and I quote, Allah loves those who fight in His cause in a row as though they are a single structure joined firmly. Pakistan named its operations during the 4-day War of May Bunyan al-Marsus after this verse. Following this Quranic recitation, Pakistan's national anthem was played, the sources said. Field Marshal Munir mocked India's refusal to provide specific details of its losses during the 4-day war. I quote, "The Indians should accept their losses," Munir said. "Sportsman's spirit is a virtue." He added that he had offered for a public inventory of Pakistan's losses to be made as long as India also conducted a similar exercise. The substantial part of the Army Chief's speech, though, was devoted to the war and its fallout. Ek tweet karwaya tha with Surah Phil and a picture of the industrialist Mukesh Ambani to show them what we will do the next time, Munir said. The verse Surah Phil describes how Allah dispatched birds to drop clay stones on an enemy's battle elephants, reducing them to, the translation says, to chewed up straw. We'll start from India's east, Munir said, where they have located their most valuable resources and then move westwards. Field Marshal Munir, a religious conservative who is the first chief of the Pakistan Army to have a seminary education, has frequently used theological points to support his arguments. However, he also resorted to simpler metaphors for the benefit of his diaspora audience. I'm going to use a crude analogy to explain the situation, Field Marshal Munir went on. India is a shining Mercedes coming on a highway like a Ferrari. Yeah, that's what he said. But we are a dump truck full of gravel. If the truck hits the car, who is going to be the loser? Field Marshal Munir also took the opportunity to make the case for military involvement in Pakistani politics and strategic decision making, directing many of his comments in a slightly insulting personal way to former Ports and Shipping Minister Babar Khan Gauri, who had served under Prime Minister Yusuf Raza Gilani. They say war is too serious to be left to the generals, the Chief of Army Staff said, but politics is also too serious to be left to the politicians. The Field Marshal then moved to urging the diaspora to do more to support Pakistan in language that will be familiar to those of you who watch a lot of Hindi film. किसी की माँ काली हो सकती है और किसी की धरती माँ काली हो सकती है, पर माँ माँ होती है, he said, in a passage inflicted with Hindi film tropes. Means someone's mother might be dark-skinned and the earth of someone's motherland might be dark, but your mother is your mother. Allah, he went on, would definitely bless Pakistan with his bounty because the country is one of only two states founded on the basis of the Kalima, the Islamic profession of faith. The first of these countries, Munir argued, was the city-state of Medina, founded by the Prophet Muhammad. He incorrectly asserted that Medina's name was changed to Tayyaba, or Blessed City, after it was formed. The second such state, Field Marshal said, was Pakistan, and God would reward it with energy and natural resources, just as the earth under Medina had been. He described finds of rare earth metals, minerals, and hydrocarbons that are purportedly being made in Pakistan and are just waiting to be extracted. Field Marshal Munir joked about India's recent diplomatic tensions with the United States and said that Pakistan should maybe offer masterclasses on how to balance rival powers. The real reason for our success is we are not misers, he said. If someone does good work, we praise and appreciate them. That's why we nominated President Donald Trump for the Nobel Prize.